At 9:28 p.m., an 18-year-old girl walks away from her home. She does not slam the door. She does not look back. Minutes later, her phone is found abandoned in the grass. Less than 2 hours after that, a train engineer reports striking a body on a dark stretch of track nearly 4 miles away. Authorities will later say this was suicide. But what they won't explain is why crucial evidence vanished, why the scene was never secured, or why the walk she was said to take leaves no trace on her body. And the deeper you look into what happened to Tiffany Valiante, the more one question refuses to go away. What if the truth was decided before it was ever investigated? Stay with me because what comes next makes that official story harder to believe. Some deaths arrive with chaos. Others arrive quietly and leave questions that echo for years. On the night of July 12, 2015, Tiffany Valiante vanished from her family home in Mays Landing, New Jersey. There were no witnesses, no alarms, no signs of danger. By midnight she was dead. By morning the case was closed. The official ruling was suicide. No criminal investigation. No extended forensic review. No second look. But what happens when the speed of a conclusion outpaces the evidence behind it? Because once you examine how this case was handled, and what was left undone, it becomes clear that the real mystery did not begin on the train tracks. It began in the hours immediately after Tiffany disappeared. And the next chapter shows why. Tiffany Valiante was not a teenager spiraling toward an ending. She was stepping into a beginning. She had just graduated from Oakcrest High School, where she was known for discipline, competitiveness, and focus. A standout volleyball player, she earned a scholarship to Mercy College in New York. Her chosen field of study was criminal justice. She talked about law enforcement, about structure, about service, about purpose. Friends describe her as motivated, social, and grounded. Her family describes her as close and expressive, not withdrawn or isolated. In the days leading up to her death, Tiffany made plans. She talked about college. She posted online about feeling content, not euphoric, not distressed. That detail matters. Because later, investigators would suggest emotional instability without offering evidence that supported it. And once you understand who Tiffany was, the idea that she simply walked away to die becomes far harder to accept. But the night she disappeared would test every assumption. July 12th began like any other summer day. Tiffany spent time with her family at a cousin's graduation celebration. There was laughter, food, volleyball in the yard. No tension, no warning signs. Later that night, back at home, her parents confronted her over a minor issue. Tiffany had used a friend's debit card without permission. It was a disagreement, not a crisis. There were no threats, no ultimatums, no dramatic exit. Yet shortly after, Tiffany walked out of the house. At 9:28 p.m., a motion-activated camera captured the last confirmed image of her. She was fully dressed, calm, alone. Moments later, her cell phone was discovered discarded in the grass near the driveway. This was not normal behavior for Tiffany. And what happened between that moment and the next 2 hours has never been clearly explained. Because what was discovered later that night would raise more questions than answers. At approximately 11:12 p.m., a New Jersey Transit train struck a person along the Atlantic City rail line. The location was mile marker 45, a dark, isolated stretch of track nearly 4 miles from Tiffany's home. That person was Tiffany Valiante. When her body was found, key details stood out immediately. She was not fully clothed. She was wearing only a sports bra and underwear. Her jeans and shoes were missing. There was no clear explanation for how she arrived there, or why she was in that condition. Yet within hours, investigators ruled her death a suicide. No extended scene processing. No preservation of evidence. No criminal inquiry. The speed of that decision would later become one of the most controversial aspects of the case. And what followed would only deepen the doubt. From the moment Tiffany's family arrived at the scene, they sensed something was wrong. The area where her body was found was not secured. People walked through it freely. Potential evidence was compromised. A full autopsy was never performed. Critical examinations, including sexual assault testing and comprehensive DNA analysis, were not conducted. Key organs were not preserved. Later, items believed to belong to Tiffany, including shoes and a headband, were found miles away from the tracks, in places inconsistent with the official account. Even more troubling, an axe with red markings reportedly logged as evidence was lost before testing. The train engineer's statements conflicted in important ways, particularly regarding visibility and timing. Yet despite these irregularities, the conclusion never changed. And one detail in particular continues to haunt those who examine this case closely. The official explanation requires Tiffany to walk nearly 4 miles through dark, wooded terrain late at night. But Tiffany was afraid of the dark. Friends and family confirmed she avoided unlit areas whenever possible. More importantly, medical findings showed no injuries to her feet. No cuts, no abrasions, no debris, injuries that would be expected from such a journey. There was no physical evidence that she ever made that walk. So how did she get there? And why does the path she was said to take leave no trace on her body? This question alone undermines the foundation of the suicide ruling. But it is far from the only one. Tiffany's parents, Diane and Stephen Valiante, do not reject the suicide ruling out of emotion. They reject it out of absence. No suicide note. No prior ideation. No forensic confirmation. No preserved evidence. They believe Tiffany may have been intercepted shortly after leaving home. Possibly by someone she knew. Possibly lured. Possibly forced. They believe she may have been killed elsewhere and placed on the tracks to erase what really happened. For years, they have fought for access to records, for independent reviews, and for accountability. Many documents remain sealed. Their fight is not about theory. It is about unanswered questions. And those questions lead to only a few possible explanations. There are 3 primary explanations, and none are complete. Theory 1. Suicide, the official ruling. Tiffany walked to the tracks and ended her life. This theory relies on assumption rather than forensic confirmation. Theory 2. Foul play, Tiffany was intercepted, harmed elsewhere, and later placed on the tracks to stage a suicide. Theory 3. An altercation gone wrong, a chance encounter escalated into violence, followed by panic and concealment. Each theory raises questions. Each theory lacks proof. And the reason for that absence is simple. The investigation never allowed the truth to surface. Tiffany Valiante was 18 years old. She had plans, she had momentum. She had a future. What she did not have was a thorough investigation. Her story resurfaced years later through Unsolved Mysteries, reminding the public that unresolved cases do not disappear, they wait. And until every inconsistency is addressed, every missing piece accounted for, and every assumption challenged, the mystery at mile marker 45 remains exactly that. Not solved. Not explained. Not finished. Cases like this don't stay unsolved because answers don't exist. They stay unsolved because the right questions were never asked. If you believe Tiffany Valiante deserves a full investigation, not just a fast conclusion, let your voice be part of keeping this story alive. Leave your thoughts below. Share this story. And subscribe to Real Echoes of Reality, where silence is examined, not accepted. Because sometimes the truth doesn't disappear. It's just waiting to be heard.